大家好。
Hello， 大家好。
欠了大家一个话题，今天又是礼拜天，所以今天是我们礼拜天谈美国教育。那我想说，我前2次的谈美国教育没有提到说，我读了那么多年的书，然后又把老师执照的课全部读完，那为什么没有成为正式老师？蛮可惜的。但是我不是这么认为，因为当时汉娜小学2年级的时候跳到3年级，然后我们又把她转到泰山老师的学区，那她跳一级，功课就又难了一些，课外活动又多了一些。当时我在泰山老师学校8年级的 Algebra 数学课里面做了5个礼拜的学生老师 student teaching。So I did 5 weeks of a student teaching in your school.
Yeah, I remember.
And you remember that? Your principal is so supportive. And also my master teacher is 泰山老师的同事，对我也是非常的关心和照顾。那5个礼拜应该是全部我一个人来做老师，从make a lesson plans to grading the papers and everything. But my master teacher 他做了很多的工作，所以我很庆幸能有这么好的老师。我还记得最后一天，他偷偷的买了一个大蛋糕，还买了一件有泰山老师学校名字的一个很漂亮的红色衣服，然后 surprise me.
That's your sweatshirt, right?
Yes,
the
my
红色的
sweats.
衣服。
I was seriously touched, and I was crying. I cried in front of all of the 8th graders. 为什么那5个礼拜就让我感觉到，那我真的很累。6 hours just being there with the students, and I haven't even counted for like extra hours, like grading papers, and before the day starts, and you have to be there to prepare. You have to be more familiar with your lesson plans. Being a teacher is not an easy thing at all.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. When you're there, I think I'm exaggerating. But it's like driving a race car. If you're in the race, you have to be paying attention 100%. You have to use everything that you've got to pay attention, and it's kind of like that when the students are in the classroom. That you, even if you're watching a movie, which sometimes teachers have students watch movies, it helps sometimes.
Educational movies.
Exactly. Even when that's happening, you still have to be 100% engaged in what's going on, because you don't know, these, especially middle schoolers, can do anything.
Oh, so many surprises every day. Until today.
Yes.
Until today, even though I've been subbing for 12 years, every single time when I go to even the same class, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Same classroom or different classroom, same grade level, different grade level, they surprise you.
Yes.
And I do believe our viewers, a lot of you have your own kids. They surprise you too, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
所以呢，当时汉娜已经跳了一级，又转了一个新的学区。那么呢，要熟悉环境，学生老师回到家每天真的是非常非常的累，那就没有精力煮饭。I got no energy to cook, to clean after I finish work. No energy to work with Hannah, and I just felt bad. I mean, I feel so good when I was at work, because I feel like, students, believe it or not, they were paying attention to me, and I even learned how to sing a algebra song from my master teacher.
And she's going to sing it to you now.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm not. I don't remember at all. Okay, these American kids, they have to use all kinds of a way to motivate them to learn the easy concept, which is, for example, 2x plus 5 equals 20, something like that. Just a simple concept for 8th graders, but a lot of them are struggling. And
X equals 7.5.
Okay, thank you.
I think.
And then, so we have to learn, and my master teacher learned from Common Core. So can you explain about Common Core?
Not particularly. I just know that when she started internship, that was when we were shifting over to Common Core, which I think is based on a Singapore math model, and it's more real world problems, and how do you solve stuff in a different way. It's more complicated, but it gives students more options, I think. I'm an English teacher.
And I have to tell you, until today, the kids just frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
Are they still using the Common Core?
I think they are, but I think it's more of the students aren't as frustrated because they've grown up with it a little bit more, and the parents have grown up with it a little bit more, and the teachers understand, oh, it's still the same thing we're teaching, it's just slightly different.
Hannah said, why this is so easy, algebra format? I can just use it. I can just use, plugin. I can use substitution. I can use any way I want to solve that problem.
Right.
That's how I grew up. That's how you grew up.
Yeah.
But so it's pretty frustrating. So 那我回到家以后，每天都很累。那5个礼拜真的是非常辛苦。那泰山老师也看到我比较frustrated and 没有精力，就是说做任何事情，回到家就想睡觉。那也不能睡觉，因为还要准备第二天的工作，还要准备教学大纲啊，还有很多。I have to prepare not just the lesson plans. Part of the lesson plans you have to graph, because you have to pretend you are the 8th grade, like 13, 14 years old, a kid. How do I learn? If I give you like step by step, first step, then you need to do. They use algebra tiles. Okay, I don't have it right now. Okay, I can show you. Okay, how do you put a 5 positive right here or 2 negative right there, and then they cancel out. It's just a lot of steps. I have to tell you, I memorized it. I learned that was 12 years ago how to deal with this Common Core thing. Now you want me to teach like that way, and I have to review again, and I have to teach myself one more time. So a lot of preparation. So public school system, I think, supposed to help the new teachers to reduce the pressure. But by then, I had a lot of pressure, not from the students, not from the administrators, not from my master teacher, not from my own family. It's from the way they want you to teach, which is a Common Core. So I was struggling a lot of that. I learned algebra really well when I was 13, 14 years ago in China. That was many decades ago. And teacher never taught us that way. And I learned pretty fast. And I still remember, because I came to America and then went to college, and I got no trouble for algebra. But American kids here are struggling. Probably not our Asian families, because our kids we just got it like that. Only 5 weeks is not. It's only the first portion of the student teaching if you want to be a regular teacher. The second portion is the major, which is 10 weeks. 10个礼拜，还不能在中学，要去高中做学生老师。那么我在去高中做学生老师之前，我就和泰山老师商量了一下，我还是先去代课。So I finished the 5 weeks student teaching from middle school. Then I started subbing for high school. I did sub for a lot of algebra classes over there. Over there, high school, believe it or not, 9th grade, the 4th year of high school, a lot of kids are still reviewing what we learned. They should have learned from 8th grade, Algebra 1. Of course, some better kids move on to Algebra 2. And the smartest kids move on to geometry, 几何。我要几何代数，但是很多学生他应付不了几何，那怎么办呢？再重新，我 say I like the system. Finally, I think high school they're doing the good system. They separate the kids.
Right.
Okay, for example, like Hannah, English level is really high, right? So they move those kids to be they call honors English. And then Hannah's math is really high level, so they move those kids to geometry, 几何. Middle level kids, they move them to Algebra 1, still review. For the lowest kids, I have to tell you, I sub for a lot of lower classes. You can't even believe it, how low they are. Some of them couldn't even manage the hardest multiplication, division.
Yeah.
And I know you
Still working on the basic skills.
Yes, like a fundamental math.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, if you never touch the American public school system, you never surprise yourself. It's just so different levels. But they didn't separate the kids from elementary school and middle school though. Elementary school and middle school unless you go to charter school. So you want to introduce about charter school?
What little I know about it, that's just another form of a public school where somebody in the district will say, well, let's create a school that focuses more on this one subject and runs our school a slightly different way. And it's kind of a private school within a public school, but anybody can go to it as long as they're able to go by the rules of that school.
So, for example, if students they are against the rules, they can kick you out, right?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Yes.
But regular public school like 泰山老师 school, middle school, and other middle school, even if you have worst behavior problem, most of the times you're not gonna you might get suspended.
Right.
But like a week.
Well, we do have
but you're not gonna. You can't kick them out.
You can, but it's very difficult. Because we have another school for middle school and high school that will accept the most difficult students, but there's not much room in that, and so they really have to be given as many chances as they can before we will move them over there. But we do have, I don't know, 3 or 4 at least per year that will transition over to this other school.